Can we trust the Federal Reserve? All right, this is an important statement because things is happening now in Federal Reserve, and of course, credential trust is getting lesser and lesser, and that's why traders now is asking this question over and over again. Let me explain to you more in detail shortly, but once again, disclaimer apply as usual, and thank you AIMS for the kind sponsorship. All right, guys, before we go into that as well, let's just go back to what happened during last week's bank's earnings. All right. Now, Jim Cramer gave a breakdown on this, even though he was absolutely wrong on Thursday when he said that the CPI data was so bad, he would sell everything away, and that very day is how the market shoot to the sky. Okay. Now, JP Morgan Chase, okay, beats Wall Street expectation of his tops and bottom line. Okay. And of course, it's quite interesting because their CEO, Jamie Dimon, came in and warned that the US economy will enter a recession in the middle of next year. But Jim Cramer says that the bank shares is expected to move higher, okay, because of the raising rates. Now, of course, raising rates will be beneficial to the banks, but you must also understand that the bad debts and the money, the loans they give to the people itself, if the delinquency doesn't increase, that's fine. But if it does, then it may not be that good, okay, in my opinion. Alright, then how about Wells Fargo? Wells Fargo also beats their earnings and revenue in the last quarter, but saw a cut to its bottom line from its decision to boost its loan loss reserve, okay? So this is what I try to say. This is something that you take note of that. And of course, Morgan Stanley came in and believed that the market have overreacted because the share price came down 5%, okay? Alright, of course, we saw some recovery later on, but it didn't really help. Now, Morgan Stanley, basically, it misses the quarter earnings and revenue. So, you think about this. Why Morgan Stanley miss it? I thought they're one of the few who are shorting the market right now. So, a bit of question mark here itself. But still, nonetheless, a lot of things is in a big question mark. And Citibank, okay? Citibank said that he'd rather own other bank than Citibank because even though it beats the revenue and earnings, but saw a 25% decline in profits. Oh, that is bad. And very interesting. The profit decline, they beat revenue and earning, and the share price went up. So it's a bit of question mark again and again. So you can see that 4 different banks, 4 different type of earnings, and 4 different type of reaction. But this is just the fundamental. Let's look at the technical, shall we? Now, first of all, the technical side, we can see that JP Morgan, they beat the earning, right? The share price gap up, it high, but then what happened? Bang. Okay, the closing was pretty bad. And of course, look at the volume was there. That means that there were more selling than buying in the market. So I believe that the market may come back down to the 102 mark. Traders, you need to be careful on that. I'll write it down for you guys. I still believe that there is a chance that this stock will come back down again to a 102 mark. Okay, so traders, you need to be caution to the wind on this particular area. Yeah. Okay, let me just change my color a little bit so it make it better for you guys. Okay. Now, how about this counter? This is Morgan Stanley. Now, Morgan Stanley share, as you can see, they did not perform at all. In fact, the market gapped down and sold down, right? As you can see, down 5%. And also, volume have increased. So, which means that there's a very good chance this counter can come back down all the way to reach the $72 mark. Okay, that is what I'm saying for Morgan Stanley. And of course, the next one, it will be the Citibank. Now, Citibank shares have been coming down. Alright, we have a very interesting recovery. Volume came up, so there was some buying before that itself. But the doji reversal tells me that, nope, I still think that this counter will come back down again to about 40 level to find a base level. Alright, and last but not least, we will have the next counter, and that will be, here we go. Okay, Wells Fargo. Now, Wells Fargo, basically the earnings was okay. It gapped up initially, but couldn't break the resistance, and still is moving below the moving average, the moving MA 200. So if we cover gaps, okay, most likely it will go back down again, back to the $40 mark. So in short, it's alright. With the higher earning and the volume moving up while the price pulls back is not a good sign. To me, it's alright. When share price goes up, it should come with volume and upside indication. But when it has volume and the price action in reverse, usually means it's more like a distribution. Okay, that's my personal view on the 4 counters. We are coming this week as well with Goldman Sachs. We'll see how it goes. All right. Okay, let's continue. So look at it. All the counters did pretty okay the day before. Remember, Wells Fargo, JP Morgan, Citibank, and Bank of America. Right. So all these tells you that there could be some initial buying beforehand itself before last Friday's pullback. So all this information tells me that maybe all this was done before the earnings. And of course, once that is happened, the boys redistribute. And of course, most important things that JP Morgan and Citigroup now says that the higher capital requirement may hurt lending. And of course, when they say that, they are informing you that you go slow. So we can see that now that this is not a very good sign. And of course, we have the this Citibank exiting from Russia operation, so another hit to the bottom line. And most important, the US Treasury has asked major banks whether it should be buying back some of the US bonds in order to improve the market liquidity. So it seems that there is some problem here, because why would the Treasury ask this question? So definitely with some money on hand right now, they really want the banks to come in, because when the banks was going down itself, the Treasury came in to save the day. So now when Treasury needs some help, which obviously we know that, they come in, alright? So there should be some provision right now. Alright, now let's go to the main topic for today, is the big credit trust problems at Federal Reserve. Now remember this, back then in January, alright, we have the Federal Vice Chairman, alright, resigned over stock trading controversy, right? Remember that? Yes, Richard Clarida. Alright, he's a third Federal Reserve official to quit over questionable behavior during the coronavirus pandemic. So a Federal Reserve Vice Chairman resigned. Okay, so this one, remember that? Okay, now we have a bigger one right now. Oh my god. This guy, Bostic, alright, Bostic, we know we've been covering him for some time itself. Okay, Bostic actually has finally revealed that there's some trading violation, and Jerome Powell is opening probe on it. So he said that he said that he doesn't know, obviously, and now he admitted to it. So what will happen? We will wait for the result. Of course, his thing is that people are not buying into it. So here itself, the key thing is it has broadened the Federal Reserve antics scandal. And of course, finally, after probing, he said he'll be responsible for it. So Bostic says that he will look at it, and definitely if he has to be punished, he will accept the decision. So what I'm trying to explain now is the problem here. More and more Fed officials are getting this probing because of what they have done. Now, of course, if he is dove, then obviously it makes sense. But you look at it right here, this is the latest update since September. Bostic himself is more towards the hawkish side, okay? While Boller is the most hawkish and Brenner is the most dovish, okay? So from here, we can see, right, that means that a little bit like, okay, fine, at least he's not the dove self. Because if he is, then obviously that will be very bad. So how can we trust the Federal Reserve now if they continue doing this? And whatever they say next is alright. Is it because they have something that they have or they are doing and causing that to happen? Well, that's for you to decide. Now, we have one big one is this Boller right now. He's the most hawkish, obviously. He says that there's a very high open possibility of a larger December hike. Now, for me, I mean, my version view was November 75 and in December 50. So apparently, the latest information from Boller, he says that it's too early to alter policy, and he thinks that we should go for more. So, in fact itself, right, he said that there should be another 75 basis point for November and December. Oh my god, okay. So, if that is going to happen, that means it will easily push the number to 4.5, because now it's 3.3% to 3.25. Another 75 basis point each side will bring it to 4.5, and that's a figure that I basically have mentioned. So, is it because that I'm bear and I'm calling for sell? Yeah, of course I'm bearish, that's why I'm shorting. So the question is this, is Boller also doing the same thing? Is he shorting the market? Alright, now if you look at it, this is the Federal dot plot, remember, and you can see very clear for 2023, most of them are looking at this between 4.5 to 5%. Most of them, out of the 19 Fed officials, alright, 10 of them are looking at least 4.5 to 5%. So it's like everybody's in the same direction. Okay, so if the dollar if the US interest rate goes up itself, the dollar will be pushed up higher. So what will happen to the equity market? I think it's pretty clear, right? There will be some selling. So can we trust what they say right now? Because there are so many hidden agenda. Well, that is for you to decide. Now, one thing to take note is the Federal Reserve again seemingly put handbrake again. Now, last 3 weeks, we can see there's a very clear downwards momentum on the reducing of the balance sheet. But as of last week, right, it didn't really does that. It didn't do that. So question is why again? Now I'll have another video coming out, and that is something very important. It's about Credit Suisse and the relationship with the Federal Reserve. And I tell you this is the big one. If something really doesn't go fine, we may see a big calamity in the stock market. I'll leave it on next video, all right? But by doing that itself, that tells us very clear that the Federal Reserve wants to do something, but because of whatever reason, they pull the handbrake again. And this is where it gets very concerning, because if they keep on doing what they're supposed to do, we know that the pain is there, but it's not so bad, because after the pain, things will be better. But when they don't do it itself, right, this leaves a big question mark, and the market never like question mark. Okay, let's take a look at the market right now and see what we have for today, shall we? Okay, so first of all, let's look at the China market. Today, the China market is kind of sideways. Initial, there was some upside, then it reversed course, and now it's hanging at the sideways. So what we are seeing right now, the market is still below the MA30, and it's still below the 13,000 psychological level. So overall, it's alright. I'm not that keen, and I still think that there could be further pullback from the China market. Okay, alright. Then of course we look at a very important Dow Jones momentum movement. We can see that on last Friday, you can see that we mentioned about this figure, the 82.5%. The Dow misses that level just by a fraction of a point, and now is holding fort above the 80% mark, is 29,563. The Dow Jones has to stay above it so that it can go back up again. But if the market failed to stay above 29,563, then a pullback back to here itself, 28,639, is a very high chance. Okay, so traders, you need to watch out for all these key points. Alright, let's look at the TWB chart for today's Dow Jones, shall we? Okay, for the Dow today, we are still having a strong resistance at this PMBRL at 30,187. KSI is still red in color, but KRW has turned still cyan. So that means that it will have some selling impact, but the selling will not be heavy because there's some buying interest at this moment right now. The MLP and MA30 are heavily stacked today at 29,880 series. So as long as the market can stay above pivot 2, 29,889, the market should be able to go back up. But because it's actually opening below pivot 2, watch out for the opening today. The opening price for today is 29,662. So once the market stays below the OP, I can tell you there will be some selling, and the selling can bring it down all the way to this point here. That's BMBSL, and that is 28,642. Okay, so I really hope that the market stays above OP, but if it goes above OP, there will be some selling. OP stands for opening price. Okay, now for the Nasdaq, let's take a look right now. Nasdaq has basically turns it to a single yellow bar as of Friday, and then that means it's a CCYR positioning. But the thing is, the KSI is green and the KRW is red. So again, we have a mixed bag. The boys are buying, but the weighting itself pulls the market down. Okay, so simply put today, the MLP is 10,869, but the pivot 2 is 10,792. So which means that if the market goes below OP, there will be some selling, and I believe that it will come back down to 10,437 mark. Okay, so watch out for OP today. Only if the market cross above the pivot 2, 10,792, then the buying will come in back to MLP level. S&P 500, well, we have a strong reversal on the BMBRL, and that figure will be 3686 level. Okay, so now the thing is this, guys. Now today's again the opening price is below pivot 2, and if now it's pushing up first, plus the indication show that the boys are still buying. MLP is 3630. All right, so it's above here. So if the market cross above 3617, the first target will be 3630. But same thing, if the market breaks below OP, which is 3585, then the selling may bring it down all the way to the KCB level, which is about 3540 level. Okay, so watch out for this. Now for Hang Seng, I think that we are more or less near a bottom, but the opening price is also below pivot 2 today. So by right, if it stays below OP, there will be some selling. Now KSI and KRW both are red. That's why over the last 2 months, you can see that no matter how, whenever, even if the market recovers here, when you see that when the market was going up, right, my KSI and my KRW both were red, I know that once the market breaks the trend line, bang, the selling will come. So same thing happened over here again, and then the selling resumed. So based on my understanding, we should see the Hang Seng down a little bit more. Maybe it may test below 16,000 psychological level first before we can see any strong buying coming in. Okay, how about Nikkei? Alright, Nikkei is having a bit of a mixed bag. Based on the indication of mine, we should have Nikkei going up today. Now this morning, Nikkei opened at this 26,561 and then it's up now to 26,726. So by right, my green arrow did play its part, meaning that even though it gapped down, but because of the green arrow, we should have a pretty good upside, and indeed it really happened. But the question is this, but today the opening price is also below pivot 2 at 26,999. So one thing is that just now this Nikkei has went up, it had broke above the MLP, but got itself resisted at the MA30. Okay, let's look at the Nikkei on the MA30. You will see the green dots there. Let me show you a chart right now. Let's take a look. Here we go. Can you see right now? Very nice and very beautiful. Nikkei opens up, immediately shoot up first, but once it hits the KTR plus 3 and the MA30, can you see that? Straight away the green dot appeared to inform you that there could be either a higher upside movement or a pullback almost instantly, and instead the market really pulled back. Very nice. Okay, so my point is this: MLP now is 26,713. If the market can stay above this point, no problem. But if the market loses MLP, I'm so sorry, likelihood you come back down to the OP level again. So traders, you really need to watch this very, very closely. All right. Okay. Now DAX will be open until 2 p.m. But we can take a look right now that 1 p.m. Sorry, my bad. Okay, you can see right now it has crossed the BNB RL level for now. But after that, it pulls back down and closed below the BNB RL. So which means that there is a chance for it to come back down again to this particular level, and that's 12,355. KSI and KRW have mixed back signal more towards the upside. Okay, crude oil. Now, crude oil is really, really bad. Okay, now it tries to go past $92 recently, but failed, and then it pulled back down. Now, from what the chart looks like, we can see very clearly now that, hold on, let me just remove this away, that is created a new BNB on Friday, and it's trying to firm itself. The support level is at 84.49. So as long as the crude oil stays above 84.49, the market can test 86.32, which is the MLP level. But take note that there is a pivot 1 at 85.04 and pivot 2 at 82.95. So if the market pulls back because economic crisis, or they feel that the economy is not doing well, and it pulls below MA30 and goes below the BNB SL, then coming down to 82.95 is actually possible. KSI is red, KRW is cyan, so a bit of mixed bag at this moment right now. Now for this, this is silver. Let's take a look at silver. Silver has nicely down to the level that I wanted, okay, which is the $17. Okay, slowly it's coming there. Now I've been telling people that if the silver price can come to $17, it will be a very, very good buy, and hopefully it's happening right now. Okay, so a $17 bid, but KSI and KCX both are giving you the downside signal. So once it loses OP, right, this level here at $17 will be a good time to look at it. Now for gold, we can see that we have a BNB created on Thursday, and with gold support level is 1642, which the market have bounces off it on Friday and almost for today. So as long as the market stays above 1642, it's still okay. But 1638 today is a very important support level, pivot 2. As long as the market stays above the 1642, upside is 1654. But if the market loses 1638, the first profit level will be 1628 based on the KCB, and both KSI and KCX are both on to the bearish side for now. Yep. Okay, so traders need to take that. Okay, and last but not least, we have the cryptocurrency space. Crypto today seemingly has a bit of upside. It has came down below to 18,000 on this Sunday, but then again today it put up. Now it's very difficult for the market to go up right now because the KSI is all green in color, and we have periodic KCX. That means that there are some buying interest right now on Bitcoin. So as long as it can stay above 1936.6, that is MA30 for today, we can see 19,863. But of course, if the market back for whatever reason, The first support will be 18,532 because that is a BNB minus 1 time 1 extension. Yeah. And Ethereum is also seemingly finding some strength right now. It has converted from red to yellow. KCX this has flattened out, so that is a bullish sign. So upside is 1367. Although the opening price is below the pivot 2, as long as market stays above OP, is okay. But of course, if the market goes below OP, 1295 MLP must stay supported. If not, 1210 will be the target. Now with the KSI and the KCX now flattened, it's likelihood that the right out exterior is selling, but the internal is buying up. So there will be a fight. So expect the market to be more like a doji formation throughout the whole day today. Okay. Alright, so what we have over here itself is the today's market view. Later on, another 1 or 2 more video coming up. Watch it. It's going to be a big one on Credit Suisse. This is Cal signing off. Have a great day. Make more money from the market. Cheers, guys. Bye.